Solis Minerals is exploring for lithium in Brazil. More than a year ago now, lithium export rules were relaxed in the country, and since then, Solis says Brazil is rapidly developing into an exciting and globally significant high-grade lithium region. Solis has a new interest in northeast Brazil. The company's executive director, Matt Boyes, recently visited the country. He joins me now. Matt, nice to see you.
Yeah, good morning, Chris. Thanks for having us on.
Absolutely. Matt, you recently came back from Brazil. Was it a successful trip?
It was an excellent trip. It was very, very useful. We predominantly the visit this time was for to meet a new investor base. Canaccord organised an event in Sao Paulo for the lithium-based explorers and future developers and producers, and it was very successful. We had a great site visit with some brokers, and also I got to get back up to site in Borborema and see things advancing on those projects up there as well. So yeah, definitely very positive.
Now, Matt, what was the initial draw to Brazil, and how does the exploration there compare with the exploration in Australia? For example, if you had the exact same project here, what would the difference be?
That's a good question. I think, look, here definitely things will move a little bit faster in the sense that you would have, I guess, Western Australia has it's got the logistics in place, it's got the infrastructure, and it's got the mining services, which in Brazil not quite at that level yet. I think so. Things move a little bit slower, especially on mobilizing of drill machines, for example, and access to the projects, et cetera, et cetera. But there's not really a lot. We found that we've been able to get up to speed very quickly. With the second project, especially in our Borborema province, we've had 2 rigs mobilising. One's already there now, so it is definitely a country that you can work in, and we've had some very positive feedback and positive interaction with the mines ministers, for example, and Minas Gerais, and also local suppliers and local mining services groups. So we think that Brazil is definitely not a bad place to be.
And as you've just referred to, an extra exploration team was mobilised at your Borborema project last month. Yeah. What is the company's focus here, and what work is planned for the rest of the year going into 2024?
Okay, well, Borborema is the next cab off the rank for us. We've got almost 26, or just over 26,000 hectares of mining lease, not mining leases, tenements, exploration tenements in Borborema. A lot of them are very early phase or green roots exploration, grassroots exploration. Those tenements will mobilise a geochem crew to come in and basically just start to build up a set of targets, a database for us, something for us to start to develop our targeting exercises on. Whereas there's we also have 2 very advanced stage projects which are drill ready. So we have one called Estrela, which is we've found spodumene at surface and outcropping pegmatites there, so we'll be drilling those now. And also we've just completed the acquisition of a second asset, or a new asset, called Mina Vermelha, which is a group, or it's one tenement, but it has a set of artisanal mines or garimpos on that tenement, all mining pegmatites. And we've confirmed there's lithium and cesium mineralisation at surface. What we need to do now is confirm that the mineralisation actually extends below the outcrops. So we'll start drilling there as soon as we possibly can. It's on a granted mining lease, and we have full access and a really good rapport with the surface landowner. So we have all the permits in place for us to commence drilling straight away.
And you've mentioned that the pegmatite bodies at the Estrela prospect are lithium bearing. How significant are the grades that you've seen to date?
Oh well, we've only got rock chip samples, so it's a bit of a I guess they're not representative of the whole width of the pegmatite, but we've got up to 7%, just over 7% Li2O on these projects. So we've confirmed that we are in spodumene rich, spodumene bearing pegmatites. We've found spodumene themselves at surface, found them in the pegmatites themselves. So now what we need to do is we need to confirm that we've got some volume, and the mineralisation is actually extended over distance. So that'll come down and put in some drill holes in it.
Now let's talk about Jaguar. The company isn't confident of the grade or scale to continue with the acquisition. What other opportunities are around in the region that might be of interest to Solis moving forward?
Yeah, Jaguar was a massive disappointment for us. But I think everyone who's visited the site was of the opinion that those pegmatites were going to be something special. And unfortunately, the grade just wasn't continuous outside of those 2 or 3 small pockets of mineralization that we found at surface or outcropping at surface. So no, we didn't think it was prudent to carry on with the investment there, especially in the current market, and with the size of the metrics of that investment quite large. So we decided to step away. We haven't done a lot of additional work in Bahia, to tell you the truth. We've looked at some tenements in Bahia, but we haven't done as much work as we have in Borborema. And I think at the moment, what's better for Solis is for us to dedicate time and effort and I guess investment in one location, which just becomes a lot easier and more productive for us. So no, we will obviously review things. We're reviewing projects on a daily basis. We have a lot come across our desk. We have a lot that goes to our sister company and then comes on through to us as well, which is Latin Resources, and it helps having that infrastructure and that supporting country as well. So I think Bahia definitely not crossed off. If other opportunities come in Bahia, we will look at them. We do have a preference to remain in the northeast of the country, so anything could happen over the next 6 to 12 months.
Matt, you've just mentioned why Jaguar didn't meet the company's criteria for an acquisition. Talk to us about what Solis does assess when pursuing these types of opportunities.
I think there's a lot of things that we look at. Firstly, the ownership structure, how complex it is, and that's one of the main key points. And secondly, obviously, whether at surface, whether you can see a lot of these pegmatites in Brazil are mineralized at surface, so you can see it. If they're in a region which has already been produced, resources or companies are working and found mineralization. Obviously, your distance to other mineralized pegmatites and whether you're in a province or a corridor that you can actually prove where mineralization is continuous, and whether you can see mineralization at surface and what other data there is available. Usually on the majority, I would say almost 95% of the projects, there isn't a drill hole in them, and there's very little data that we can actually utilize to investigate or to quantify what's going to be there. So it really comes down to whether we're in a lithium-bearing province, whether we think there's potential, whether the outcropping and surface expression of these pegmatites gives us some sort of comfort and gives us hope that there's going to be something below it. And that's really what we're doing. I mean, Mina Vermelha, that's a classic example of this. It's a big system, 5 or 6 existing artisanal workings at the surface. We know pegmatites extending for over 2 kilometers. We know they're mineralized. We just have to see whether we're in that Goldilocks zone, we're in that right area where we've got a lot of spodumene at some point in these pegmatites. We're only going to find that out by drilling. So that's pretty much what criteria we use.
That was Matt Boyes, Executive Director of Solis Minerals. Matt, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you, Christopher. It's been a pleasure.